right, well, we are going to get started. I'm very excited. I want to make good use of your hour. How many of you looked ahead and started reading some stuff in the binder last night? I'm sure Andy did already, right?
I read the whole thing.
I knew it, that's my Andy, that's cool. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I am not a complainer, but I gotta adjust to yelling out of an act. I have to, it's what, otherwise I don't get to be with you guys, so. Ooh. If you guys ever can't hear me back there, please let me know, okay? Please say something or wave at everybody so they can say, Crystal, back up. So,
Just so you know, we're recording from back here. They can see the front of you. You don't have to turn around to talk.
oh,
Get that.
see, real talk, can we give a big round of applause for our staff? They are so amazing. I assure you, this would not be as cool as it's gonna be this year without them. I kid you not. So, what we're gonna do really quick, I just want you that very first page where you see the accelerate, I want you to know that, there's 12 strategies in your binder. We're not gonna talk about it at all today. That will take place, the fourth week, not next week, but the following week. Just know we are going to talk about prospecting quite a bit and hold each other accountable, because how many of you agree? Show of hands, that can sometimes be one of our biggest things that we don't do, prospecting. Thank you. So that's one of the main reasons for the accountability group, so you guys can kind of hold each other accountable. And then I get reasons to give recognition and prizes, because I like to do that a lot. And so we will talk about that, not today, but that will come up. Wall posters.
Thank you.
That was our whole plan, for you to follow my voice. And then I said right there next to Chuck, he's been waiting on me. So, wall posters. Want to get some quick feedback from you guys on what that was like, some thoughts. So I want you to be thinking about that, Andy. I mean, if you don't want to share, you don't have to, but I really want to hear your opinion, because I know it's not going to be rosy and glass, like, you know, it's not going to be pretty.
It sucked when I did it.
So I do have some specific questions for Andy and others. Oh my God, Andy, my heart is beating so fast. So what we're gonna eventually do, guys, just so you know, is every week as we start meeting, we are going to hear from like a couple of people to share their goal posters with the group. A little bit about like their goals, some of their whys behind them, okay? We'll do it every 2 weeks. If you want to hear, I'm happy to have you here, but there's some on the side too. But no, I want you to know, like, if you're not a front row person.
I can be a front row person.
You do it. And I did take a shower this morning, like,
Me too.
I didn't even put on perfume, so that's kind of cool. So, I mean, I was like, just in case I'm funny. So we're gonna have a couple people share each week. I'm giving you a heads up on that, because that's important. I know you guys are like, kick my butt, make me do stuff. We will, but I gotta kick your mind around first. Is that okay? I gotta kick your mind before I can kick your butt. Because you won't respond to me kicking your butt if I haven't kicked inside your mind first, okay? So that's why we're doing that like that, because that's just kind of how I roll. But in your group next week, you are going to share pretty intimately about your goal poster. So I'm getting ready to give you things that you're gonna find out from each other, so you can be kind of prepared to articulate that to your group, okay? You're not gonna do that, boom, I knew she was coming. So, there are I did shower this morning to get in the front. Sure should know that's a big deal if I should. So here's what you're going to be asking each other and finding out when you get together with your accountability groups to discuss your goal poster. So that is where you definitely need to bring it. If you have to go in the office to print it out in color, whatever, just be prepared. So here's some things you're going to do. 3 things I want you to know. Number 1, why would you hit your goal? Why would you hit it? And the answer cannot be because I set the goal. Like, don't, like, I will come and find you in that group and be like, make them do that over, okay? Why would you hit your goal? Like, seriously. The second question you're gonna wanna know from each other is what's likely to stop you? What do you already see that could possibly be a roadblock for you meeting your goal for 2022? And then you're gonna make sure you share with them what your actual production goal is. You guys should know 2 things about each other's goals, like at least 2. You should know what your production goal is for the year, like the volume, like I plan to do 10 million, 5 million, whatever, and at least 1 personal goal. So if I were to call someone in Trisha's group and just say, hey, what's Trisha's goal? They should be able to say, hey, Trisha's goal is to do 15 million and she really wants to go to Spain or whatever, okay? If you didn't have your goals, then you have to do that. You're welcome. And so, does that make sense? Like, I don't need all the details, but I want you to know, again, if your accountability people are going to be kind of kicking your butt, they need to kick in that mind. They need to know about you, okay? You're more than just a number in the production. There's more to you than that, and I want you guys to kind of get to know that with each other, okay? I want you to write down 2, no man left behind. No man left behind. You guys, when you're meeting in your accountability group, I need to make sure that you guys are not dragging each other down, but that you're not we want to lift you up. This is not new agent training. This is not brokerage training. Like, this is an accelerate group for people who really are like-minded and wanting to move forward, okay? So, any questions about that, really, on that, when you guys are meeting with your goal, talking about your goal? Okay. I do want to hear some feedback really quick, just on what it was like doing the goal poster. I don't want to hear, we're not doing the 2 people sharing this week. We'll start that in that 4th week, but just anybody can pop up. You can be online, you can be here. Give me some feedback, and you don't have to make it all pretty because I asked you to do it. Give me some thoughts and feedback on doing your goal poster. Did Tanya?
I was petrified and a little overwhelmed and very uncomfortable. I am not happy Ann. And I felt pretty good by the time it was over. Like, my husband's like, you like this stuff. And I was like, what? I know. But I did like the process and it felt good. And it made sense.
It sounds like you were going to a doctor's appointment. You were very nervous, scared, and then you got there and like, oh, I'm healthy, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So thank you. Anybody else? Just how that experience felt. Drew?
I think for me, I tend with goals to be very systematic, step by step. But my personality is going to be driver, mine is great thinker. And so doing the pictures and getting kind of more something, beyond just thinking with a motive was really motivating. It was really, yes, a powerful thing to be able to be more all encompassing with all, not just thoughts, but emotions, but all encompassing. And I think in light of the fact that it's not being emoted was really helpful. And I'm not like a diarrhea guy, like that's not my thing. And so it was very uncomfortable. Well, even my own whole workplace. But
I'm feeling a lot uncomfortable and I'm like, because in order to get where we want to go, we got to get uncomfortable for moving into an unknown, right? Like, if it's all smooth sailing and comfortable, like, are you really growing, right? And so, anybody else just dying to share a thought before I make Andy share here? Awesome, Amanda.
I loved it. The second you sent the email, I was at Michael's. I bought all the things.
And then there's the people like Amanda.
I have 4 boards. I'm not sure they're gonna be all over my house. Like I was full blown, ready to go. Arts and crafts, glitter. Like,
Oh my gosh.
so I thought it was great. Like I'm getting.
I love it. So, did anybody online have a glitter bomb experience with your goals? Anybody want to share back here? Well, Leslie, were you raising your hand or shifting?
I'll share.
Okay.
No, it's more of that I realized it was a little scary because things that I want that I've kind of left sort of vague and like not very clear, I had to really like hone in on, and it was a little scary for me to like turn a desire into a goal. So I'm excited though.
Thank you, I love that. All right, Andy, can you take us home? Tell us how you really feel. The question is, did you hate me when you were done?
No, not ever that. My problem's not you, it's no, it was fun, honestly, and I'm pretty happy with what I got now. And yeah, I've got to kind of delegate or divvy up into different areas of my life as well too. With my computer background and
You know what I'm saying?
going up in the house. And, you know,
I love it. We're gonna talk a little bit more about inspiration when we get into this notebook, but just to help you, my last thought on the goal posters as we transition is the reason the goal is to have 3 to 5 around the house is if I would come to your house and hang out, would I know what your goals are at all? Would your kids know? Would your kids know? With your spouse, with your friends who hang out? This is one of the ways that I was able to enroll people in my goals all the time. If you were close enough to me to get to hang out in my home, you knew exactly what I was working on. You could look and they are just like, oh my, and it gives me butterflies and chills right now, actually, just thinking about it. When your kids see, dang, okay, that's what daddy's working for, I'm included on that. And then when you start to hit those goals, I kid you not, I'm not being all funny, I'm not one of those focus type of people. My boxer, who I am like in love with, and he is the craziest dog, but I love him so much. He was on my goal poster and he looks exactly like the dog. We just randomly picked, literally, we knew we wanted a dog. I just picked what was in the magazine, and then he just ended up looking just like it. It's so funny, so I'll never get rid of that goal poster. Lastly, my son, Blake, who is also amazing and incredible. When me and my ex-husband were like, okay, we want to have a baby, I cut out a picture, I just went in there and found a picture of a baby. And I was just like, this looks like a good enough picture for me, because I don't get all into it like that. I'm just like, okay, follow the instructions. If my multi-millionaire mentor is telling me this is important and she's way up there, I'm doing it. I am not kidding you, Blake. Look, it looked like that baby. It was really freaky. Like, we're like, you have got to be, and it was just really funny. Am I saying that if you want a kid and you put that it's guaranteed, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, it is amazing how the law of attraction works with you when you choose to participate. It's working regardless. And so it's really fun when you can go back and see, wow, I get that one. I didn't get that one in 2022, but I still won it, so I'm gonna leave it up. So I do have a goal poster in my house now that's been up since 2020. And I'm excited, I just check off the things that have come to pass and I keep the rest of them. Because if they were big enough goals for me, I still want them, even if I didn't get them. Does that make sense? And so it's really cool, if you want to enroll, especially your kids in your life and your husband, when you're leaving and all that, it helps when they can see what we're working towards. That is the biggest driver for what I charge when I do the things, because I need that. And if I leave, I understand the value of my time. Time spent in one place means time away from another. And if I'm away from my home and my family, then I need to be getting compensated for that correctly. Does that make sense? In a way that makes sense for me. So we're all good on both posters. We're switching over. You guys, as far as your team, let me give you some quick notes on your teams really quick. Before you, well, I'm not gonna say before you leave today, but today, at some point today, please make sure you have each other's contact info, okay? If you need someone, you can reach out to me, whatever, but I want you to make sure you have your team members' contact info. This, I've already said it before, it's an accountability group. It is not a like dragging group, like we're dragging you, we're trying to make it. It's not an intervention, right? So I don't want you guys to feel that way. Next Thursday, you guys do your own thing. It would be great if you met on Thursdays, but if that doesn't work for the group, just pick a day during that week, next week. And you guys figure out a time that works for you. If you want to do it in person, if you want to do Zoom, you want to do hybrid, it would be great if it was in person, but it is what it is right now, right? And please be sure to attend the boot camp next week. That training is on Zoom, where the staff is going to walk us through these tools that we have, that we've been very excited about. Want to make sure you guys, I will be showing up as a student, as a realtor. And I don't need to explain why, because that's none of your business. Because I'm a realtor and we procrastinate. So I will be there showing up myself. I'm excited about that training. So just the FYI. And last thing on teams, you guys will be holding each other accountable on prospecting throughout the year. You will know clearly what your goal is. On the 4th week, we're going to talk about our goals for prospecting, daily, quarterly, month, different things like that. They'll be simple, and then they'll be, like I said, private. If you guys want to get fun and cute and have names for your group, go all out. If you want to have a team captain that's the bossy one, that's like, hey, I'm making sure that we meet, go for it. I think that is great. I don't want to mother your group. Does that make sense? But I want you to have fun with it. So now I want to talk about, if we're going to talk about prospecting in the future, that being one of our main things. Today, I want to make sure we're talking about how we get our day started, our routine and all that kind of good stuff. And so, yes, there's a workbook. Yes, there are worksheets. You have your thing. And Crystal, why would you call us together to have us work in the workbook? Because you're not going to do it if I don't have to make space for you to do it today, right? Let's tell the truth. We forget, we get busy, we get a call, file is blowing up, whatever, right? So I want you to actually first go to the, it is a page that says work-life balance worksheet. So it's like maybe 3 or 4 pages in. And I need some volunteer readers. So these are some quick tips. Notice it's not, it is not the rule, you have to do this. So we're gonna do some quick tips on work-life balance. And if I can have someone read that first one out loud, please.
Watch out for, I'm just gonna do it. Watch out for the living of a deferred life. That continual language of, it'll be more, less, different, when. Ask yourself, what are you foregoing right now in the present? Do what you always wanted to do right now.
Yep, I love it. Second one, somebody please read the second one.
Create a work-life balance goal, not vague and informal, but thought through, written out and well formed. Then give your balance the time, focus, and attention.
Somebody back here behind me, please read number 3. I see Trent moving forward. Go ahead, Trent.
All right, there we go. Include your nearest, dearest on the plan. Tell them about the work-life balance challenges you've noticed in your new work-life balance goal. Sharing your goals will help to keep you accountable.
You guys enroll the family in. We don't just say, hey, I'm going for 10 million, boom, get on board. Even if they're 3 years old, they're 4 years old, there is a reason. My daughter is in an entrepreneurial setting, and it's definitely not because I told her to do it. But she fell in love with real estate because she watched me at 5 years old, being able to work from home and being on the phone. That is where that comes from. You guys, you have the greatest gift. If you have children, one of the greatest gifts is the fact that you get to work from home and they can actually see you as opposed to people who have jobs. They don't see they don't see their parents in the motion, in action. They don't see their professionalism. They don't get to see them overcoming objections on the phone and different things. But enroll them in so that they understand they were part of the plan, not just I have to get on board. The fourth one, the next one, somebody please read for me.
Take a look at your habits, which is the routines are serving you with your balance, and which aren't. Now consider what's the trigger that's kicking off the routine. Learn to spot these and choose a different response.
So number 5,
Motivation. What is the purpose behind the going extra time?
next one, please.
Define a new set of rules, set some unbreakable rules to help maintain balance. For example, make your daily walk non-negotiable. When faced with a rule-breaking choice, simply say, sorry, no rules.
I can totally hear Amanda saying that. That was a good one. Next,
Work diligently on the non-work. Use whatever it is you're getting from work as clues to what you're not getting outside work. Then kick off a non-work project that expresses those values. Point self-discipline at what you want to do. Self-discipline is often thought of as that which is the less desirable task. Rethink self-discipline to be about forcing your focus on you.
I love that. If next to that, I want you to write avoid burnout. Avoid burnout. You may be excited right now in this moment this year, but please don't think that you're not capable of a burnout down the road or for your family to get burned out of supporting this dream and goal of yours. Next one, please.
Carve out some space, a space for work, a space for personal, a space for special projects. Respecting spaces by only ever engaging in activities which you assign that space. So moving on to another activity.
Nice one. Next.
Always be looking to change up. The balance between life and work most often happen when you drop it out of life. Consider a reminder periodically in your calendar to take the high level. What you should.
All right, that third one up from the bottom. Can I get Leslie or Johanna?
I got it. Recognize the wider consequences. Exceeding boundaries has benefits. That's why we do what we do, but also negative consequences for your performance, motivation, commitment, energy levels, and so on.
Awesome. Johanna, can you grab that next one?
Yes, I just needed to unmute myself.
Okay.
Find ways to nurture yourself at work keep a regular work schedule, and ensure your routine includes breaks, lunch, time away from your desk, time outside, time making connections with others.
Oh my God, nurture yourself. Your clients are not gonna nurture you. I love that one of our agents actually in this room had made a decision, you know what, I need to take some time off. Because guess what, I realized that eating power bars for lunch really isn't healthy. It's not the thing that's gonna keep you going. When I got that email, I was like, yes, like, take time for lunch, Rosie, you know, get from me, I have my lunch in the car, I'm proud of myself, so I had to start ordering. And you guys may feel like, oh, this isn't a big deal, it really is. I had to start ordering from Factor, FACTOR, because they do healthy meals that are already kind of cooked but never frozen, that they deliver them to me, so I have my lunch, and it's like really good, like shrimp Alfredo in the car, and you guys, it's a few dollars, and you know, $2 a meal or whatever, but I know I'm gonna have a meal, I know how many carbs is in it, I know everything. You guys take care of yourself. Again, I don't want you showing up December 31st, 2022, like, I made it, but, oh, I made it. You know, like, I'm way out of shape, or now I have a high blood pressure, or now I have whatever, you know what I mean? Like, let's nurture yourself and take care of yourself. Because I'll tell you, that's usually one of the things in the back of your mind why you don't want to hit your goal. Even though you're saying you do, subconsciously your mind is saying, you know, you don't want to feel that way. You like hanging out with your friends and you're thinking you can't take care of you and show up. Cameron, do you mind grabbing that last one?
Remind yourself that you are not your work. Our commitment and dedication can lead us to define our identity by our work. But there are many other ingredients that make up our whole self. Have the source of your identity.
Cool. I think you guys all get that one right. Find something fun to do, right? Something that motivates you, and maybe that it has nothing to do with real estate. If real estate becomes a good byproduct of it, that's cool, but it should be something fun that you enjoy doing. Thanks, Kate. Let's move into, now you're gonna go backwards a little bit and we're gonna work on that worksheet. I want to give you a little space to kind of write in there. The relationship worksheet right here. Oh, I forgot they can see it. Okay. We continually make judgments at both micro and macro levels about our work-life balance. We're gonna skip down. Most often, we do all this on autopilot, outside of our conscious awareness. If you disagree, think to yourself, right now, of all the things you're calling a priority but are not actually working on, or conversely, all the things you're doing all the time that you're not considering a priority. You guys, it's fine. One work-life balance profile is no better or worse than the other, just as long as it's your intentional design and chosen work-life balance. Please underline intentional design. Just want to make sure that your intent, you are aware of what you're doing, and that's your intention. Intentionally design your ideal work-life balance now. And so the number one is current. Right now, today, I want you to rate your current work-life balance on a scale of 1 to 10. And no, you do not have to share this number with anyone. It is your business. Be honest with yourself. So down underneath there, see where it has midway through the page, current work-life balance, 1 through 10. Please give yourself a rating in that square box there. 1 is, it's not if I wanted, 10 is like, heck yes, exactly what I want. And if you're at a 10, we want to meet with you after class. Because clearly you know something we don't. Number 2, target. Now write down your perfect 10 for work-life balance. Like, what does that look like? You get to describe what does the ideal, doesn't mean you're going to get it, but what's the ideal work-life balance? And here are some things to consider. What are the key characteristics of your daily, weekly, monthly routine? What's most different about your perfect 10 from the current reality? How will it feel? Yeah, anyway, do that first. I don't want to go down further. So where it says my perfect 10 vision for work-life balance, I want you to write down, like, what would that look like? You just could make it perfect. What would your work-life balance kind of look like? No right or wrong answer. You guys are really doing it. Everybody's doing a great job. Some of you seem to be really, like, I'm gonna move on to the next one for time, but do know that you can come back to this. I just wanted to at least get your mind going, okay? What's the most different about your perfect 10 from your current reality? And so when you think about, like, my perfect 10, I just looked at it, but here's where I'm really at. Your answer is going to be what changes you need to make to get from your reality to your perfect 10. And that's what I want you to put on my top priorities for change. Those 6 things. What are some top priorities for you that you would need to change in order to go from your reality to what would be perfect? Of those 6, it's probably going to be 1 or 2 things that are holding you back right now from having that big life. It could literally be, I have a baby, I don't want to get a sitter, but I know I really need to get a nanny. And does that make sense? Like, that could be one of those things. Or, I mean, heck, I have a dog and I feel guilty leaving all day, so I really need to start taking my dog to doggy daycare. You know what I mean? Or camp, so that they can get out and I don't feel guilty. So is that a little helpful? Or creating date night with your significant other, so that they're not always like, oh yeah, the week's over. Sorry, missed you again. Right? Like, do we need to have set date nights where every Friday night, I don't care who calls, I'm not working, I'm with my person, and we're doing whatever the heck we want to do, right? Now, this one excites me, and it's because this question, the second one from the very bottom, how will I know it's a success? Like, how will I know that I kind of at least arrived, even if I didn't get to my perfect, I will know that I have created some good work-life balance. What is an indicator that would let you know that? For example, I'm spending more time with my family, or, man, I'm feeling good, I have energy again, because I'm working out, I'm eating better, you know, just whatever your thing is, I don't wanna give you words, but. Some of my sleep personalities are still being very thorough, getting their answers in, and I love it. All right, here's where the rubber meets the road. What is one thing, not two? I can tease my friend because she literally is my friend, my heartbeat, I love her. I can tease her. Not 10. One, because I know she will come up with 5 things really quick. What's one thing? One. What is one thing out of those 6 that you can start putting in action right now? Like you can start looking for a nanny or a babysitter right now, or looking up some doggy daycares, like not in this, like you're not gonna do it right now while we're talking, but it's your next thing. What's one thing? Please write that down. Give it a little thought, because it's just one, guys, not 2. And write that down. Everybody got their one thing? Put your finger up and show me one thing. Andy? Oh, good, okay, I love it. If you have your one thing, let me see your finger, one thing on the screen. If you have your one thing, let me see. I love it. Our couple is still figuring it out. I love it. The Whittingtons is still working on it. That is cool. Okay, most of us have our one thing. We're gonna give a few more seconds. See, that just means you're really giving good thought to it. I'm okay with that. While you're waiting on, while we're going to transition, you can go to our last page, which is the next page. And just read that first little paragraph to yourself. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this one today, because guess what? I really hope you will go back in this one and spend more time. We're gonna do some of it now. But because this, if you prepare yourself, you will be ready to discuss at your accountability meeting next week, instead of being like, oh, I hope you kind of catch on that I try to build everything on each other so you're prepared for the next thing and the next thing. But we're looking at what's holding you back. Everybody wants to talk about what I'm going to do with this. Okay, that's cool, but let's address the elephant in the room and not try to act like it's not there, because that's not really how you deal with stuff. Some people were raised that way, like you ignore and you just put your head down and keep going. I don't believe in that. I like to take things head on, because they're there. And when you get tired, when you get frustrated, when you don't feel like showing up for group, when you don't feel like making calls, guess what? That elephant becomes really heavy and loud and apparent. And if you haven't dealt with it ahead of time, a lot of times it will wipe you out and keep you from doing what you intended to do. That makes sense? And so I'm gonna read really quick where it says, what are you getting from your current strategy? Some of you are like, I don't really have any strategy. Yes, you do. Habits and routines, are they serving you? You guys, the strategy is the structured sequence of our actions. We have strategies for everything we do. You may not be aware of your strategy, but you do. For everything you do, we have strategies. And so we want to be aware and be intentional with what that is. Okay, so number 1, Cameron, can you read that first one for me?
Look at your daily weekly routine, which habits and strategies are contributing to your current balance. That's excessive hours at work, prioritizing work over non-work, turning non-work projects into work projects, avoiding delegation to maintain control.
I love you. You know, I thought of it. Okay, I want you to look at that and please come up, write up some answers. Look, just think about your daily, weekly routine. Which of your habits and strategies are contributing to your current imbalance? And you do not have to come up with all the answers, but I do want you to give some thought and come up with maybe one or two right now. Can I be completely honest with what am I, well, probably two of mine, if it helps at all? I definitely am guilty of excessive hours, work hours, and especially when we can carry it home, like it can keep going all night, right? And then not taking advantage of my morning, not prioritizing my hours. Because at the end of the day, usually, if I would have been more productive early in the morning, then I wouldn't have had to do things in the evening when my son's home and, you know, it should be downtime. And in the back of my mind, it could be like, oh, real estate never sleeps. No, sweetie, you did not get up and seize the day earlier in the day. So now you're working at 9, 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but many times that's when I know that I'm not doing the thing I know that's the most important that I need to do the night before. And so that will be something on my list. What are positives? What positives are you getting from your currently imbalanced setup? Meaning like, so think about it. Right now, you may realize I do have an imbalanced life. But what are some of the positives you're getting from it? Are you getting recognition because you're hitting your goals at work? Do you have this reputation that, you know, every time I call, she answers the phone? That's a benefit. All right, Amanda, I hear you, girl. Reward, are you getting progress, safety? Like, come on, let's be real with it. There's a reason why you're doing that. Man, for my high personality in the room, you love to get recognition, even if it comes to your clients, right? Like, oh my God, you're always available, I just love you. You're like, oh, I want to be available all the time. I want you to keep saying that to me, right? Or the money, like, I think that's a part of recognition to me too. Even if I don't need it all, it's nice to hit a certain income bracket, right? To be able to know for yourself or say or whatever, share that, right? Okay, this one, we're not gonna really get in, this is where I want you to really focus more between now and next week. I'm gonna break this up and have somebody read each one of the little questions under what challenges could you make of your positive? What challenges could you make of your positive? So starting with Emily, and then we'll just do popcorn style, whoever wants to read. There's like 8 little questions under there. Emily, can you take that first one?
Are the positives actually positive?
Are you getting these positives from overwork?
Can you get these positives without the overwork?
How else and where else? Get all this stuff?
Is the overwork worth the sacrifice?
If you remove the positives, what's the worst that might happen?
What is the best thing that might happen?
Take a deep breath, even in your mask. And release, okay? if there's something that's just hitting you right now, go ahead and write it down. I'm gonna give you a couple minutes, but we're going to finish up this week, but I want to give a couple minutes space there. As you think through some of those through the week, because that's gonna help you frame, you don't have to share everything on there. But when you're talking to your accountability group, you're gonna be able to share like, okay, I already know this is a weakness for me, okay? I know that Chuck, which I am like, it is like the biggest, it is a huge, I won't say honor, sounds cheesy, but it's a big compliment for you to be in the group. Not because you're better than anyone else, but because you have a good coach that you pay for, that you work with. So you're already coach of both. And I know that's why you're in the group. I recognize with your answers to the survey. But what I want you guys to really understand is when you show up for your group, I want you to, even if you've never been coached, like really had extensive coaching before, I want you to understand, you decide how fast the results come in, right? And when you're aware of what you're good at and what you struggle with, it helps. So for me, with Mark Nottingham, I told him, look, I'm a recovering workaholic. I told Amy Corey, same thing, I'm a recovering workaholic. And I don't want to go back into my addiction. You will get excited about what I do, but I need you to watch me and call me when you notice, like, stop, like, what are you doing? Where is this going? Because I know that about myself. Does that make sense? Because that is definitely one of my issues, and some people might think, oh, that's great. No, it's not. I don't want all the money, all the recognition, and all the people around me don't really love me, care for me that much. You know what I mean? Like, they're irritated. Does that make sense? Like, you don't get it all, guys, right? If you didn't know this, I want you to write this down, especially for the women in the room. I want to make sure whoever's in Kate Tuttle's group, I want you to make sure Kate Tuttle gets this quote and this message. Hey, I mean that. You can't have it all at one time. You just can't. You can't have it all over a lifetime. Does that make sense? I want to say it again. You can't have it all over a lifetime. This is a big struggle for women who have children, families that are, they are bosses. And they want to have this, and they want to have great kids, and it's okay. We have to prioritize and pick and choose. You can have it all, but over a lifetime, not at one time. Does that make sense? That applies to the men too, but especially to my women in here who have kids. And I know that's a big goal for Kate. I'm so proud of her. Every now and then you gotta pick and choose, what am I gonna have today? And then this I'm gonna have tomorrow, I'm gonna have this next year, I'm gonna have this in 10 years, but right now I'm gonna have this. Because you cannot, you will kill yourself. I already tried it. So, but I am alive to tell you, so you can't have it all at one time, but you can have it all over a lifetime, okay? But when you choose to show up and you're real with who you are, you get results quicker. Right? So I'm saying that so when you show up for your group, you can say, look, I'm just telling you guys, this is kind of my thing. This is what has stopped me. And this is probably what's gonna, this is gonna be my challenge. And I need you guys to kind of call me on this. That make sense? So Mark called me one day, was like, I need you to schedule 2 weeks vacation, and I need one of those weeks to happen right away. And I was like, okay, oh my God. When I got on my vacation in May, I was like, oh, I would have waited until I needed it and I hit a brick wall, like, I'm like, whoa. So you gotta tell people, always tell people, people who open their mouth, they get fed. If you keep your mouth closed, you just kind of don't get fed. Open up your mouth, tell your group what you need, okay? Your family, all that. Does that make sense? So you're gonna finish out this, write out kind of your work-life balance goal, and it gives you a structure on how to do that. Right at that very bottom. I'm gonna ask that you do share that within your group. Okay? You don't have to share it with everybody, but I am gonna ask that you share. If you have questions, you need help, I've done this great, and I've really done it poorly. So I'm not an expert, but I've just got a lot of experience in it, and you can feel free to reach out. If you're struggling with it or whatever, you can feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you guys or work with you, answer questions, okay? Thoughts or questions right now, anybody? Have any thoughts, questions on what we just shared with work-life balance? Your brains seem like they're like, ooh. That makes me happy.
Maybe this is a question for my group, if it is, that's fine, but something I think I struggle with is when it seems like there's a lull, either in the day or the week, feeling a pressure to make something happen, when there's not, I just don't have.
Preach.
Oh, bring it in, Drew, yeah.
Come in your birthday, talk about it.
Yeah. I was like, let's meet today.
Yeah, I'm waking up, I know that it's so relatable, and I didn't think that everyone was.
Oh, yeah.
React that way,
Oh, yeah.
so that'd be helpful.
Still do. One thing I want to say, did everybody hear what he mentioned? Awesome. The recording is amazing. Okay. One thing I want to leave with all of you to think about. I forgot who told me this. It is not my idea. Let's be honest, a lot of my ideas are not mine. I copied them off of other people. And you guys know what I believe, right? It's okay to copy as long as you copy the right cat, okay? So it's okay to be a copycat. With that being said, if you know, man, I'm kind of done. I've done my stuff. I've got some showings later this evening, but I've got some free time. Be aware and intentionally check out. Like if you're gonna be out, I think it was Megan, actually, now that you're checking, I think it's Megan that shared that with me. If you're gonna be off, just be off. Just literally be like, I've got 2 hours, I'm gonna reward myself for that instead of feeling guilty. And I know that sounds simple, but it's the guilt that hangs around and it drains your energy. So really just being like, you know what? I earned this 2 hours, I got my stuff done, and I'm gonna be working later on this evening. What do I want to do in this moment? And just be aware of it, okay? But I love that you guys are gonna be talking about that. Emily's like, no. Okay, so I wanna close this out with,
Well, Crystal, I have one more.
oh, yes, Angelica.
I don't know if I'm the only person in here, but I'm having trouble filling this out at all. Just because I don't have an idea in my mind of what work-life balance is.
You're in my group. I was teaching them all about it. I'll do it big
That's why you're in the group with Chuck Pennington. I love that. If I can just say really quick, one thing to you is that's because there is no right or wrong. You are newer to being self-employed over the last 3 years, and someone has given you that. They've created that for you at a job. You get to create that, what that looks like. So just some examples of things that I have used over the years is, for me, when my daughter was in private school, I was not gonna be on the phone when I picked her up from school. Absolutely not. Deal killer, like that is just the worst. When I picked her up at school, I literally needed to be off the phone and not on the phone, not engaging in anything. So that when she got in the car, we could talk about her day, whatever. Another thing for me with that work-life balance, when I come in the house, I would sit in the garage sometimes for a while, because I did not want to walk in the house on the phone, doing like this, like, in other words, don't talk to me, I'm on the phone working. It kills it is not healthy with relationships. Date night, having set date nights or set date times with the kids, or do I have a timeout? So you get to create that. But don't let your business create it for you is what's gonna happen if you don't. That make sense? So you get some time to kind of think about what is important to me and what do I wanna do? And thank God. We already have someone who's been coached very well on that's on your team. So Chuck, thank you for volunteering that. And he has 2 little kids just like me and Bill. So.
Yeah, guys, I think, number one, I just wanted to say, as kind of an observer of this program, I'm so proud of you. I was the one who, helped collect some of your survey responses and getting to read through. It almost made me tear up. I think it's really beautiful that you guys are dedicating time this year, to become better. So, just thanks for being here. Number two, logistically, we're gonna be in this space for the next 3 months at least. Really like this space, so I want to keep us here, longer than that, but I am gonna move us into a bigger room. I want us to have a little more space to spread out. It's actually, yesterday was the first time seeing the room in person. I thought it was a little bigger. So I just want to apologize to you guys, for being like a little closer than we thought, but next month will be a little more spaced out. Just know for the next 2 meetings, we'll be showing up here, and then I'll keep you posted on meetings going forward.
I do have a question, as far as the group meeting, are we gonna do, is there gonna be like email sent out that kind of has topics and stuff like that? Or is it just?
That's my last thing on the list. Go, Andy. Okay, so because we're gonna be geared around prospecting, you guys will be in the future talking about that. You will always know what you're meeting for. But it's loose so that you guys have time in there, but just so you know, the majority of your meetings after this one for this month, for when you guys meet together, it will be revolved around prospecting. Like, what is that looking like for you? You guys are all broken out almost in different locations. Like, I really tried to get very thorough with how I broke you guys out into groups. If for some reason I made an epic fail, don't feel bad to let me know, like, I could not be in a group with this person. Let me know that, we'll work through it, and if it's the case, we will gently fix that. Be like, you're the only person who's telling this. You're gonna be with me? No, I'm just kidding. So, guys, today we focused on, you're focusing more on how your day, how that is going. You're gonna have, so in your groups, you're going to be talking about, and I'm kind of glad and sad that I won't be in there with you when Andy especially is talking about this.
So on the Thursday morning, where we continue at the larger group, and then we're meeting with our county utility group, something like how it's structured.
So, yes. Trisha just asked, so you guys, the third Thursday of every week, we do not meet as a group, as a big group. You only meet with your accountability group. Is everybody aware of that? So we're not meeting together as a big group. Every third Thursday, that's you and your accountability group whenever you guys decide that you meet.
First meeting monthly, isn't it?
Monthly, yes. If you guys want to talk throughout, text each other, that's fine, but as far as an actual meeting, I want that to happen once a month at least. You guys are going to be talking about the 2 other things there, your morning routine and your gratitude. And so I will make sure you have this. I will send out an email to all of you, but make sure you show up with this. So you're gonna finish, because this month is all about what you're doing. If we wanna have a good year, we need to have good months. And good months come from good weeks, and good weeks come from good days, right? So we really want to make sure we get our minds and thoughts structured on how our day and our week and our month before we start hitting it in February. That cool? You will know exactly what you're doing in your group, I promise. I will be sitting there. Right now, I just need you to make sure you have each other's contact information, right? Oh. forgot that you see me. All right, that was it. Smooches, smooches, smooches. You guys have an amazing day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, Rosie.
It's right there. Place up here for the-
Oh, okay.